From fantastic beasts to breakthroughs in science. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Eddie Redmayne performances. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe for more great content. For this list, we've ranked the best and most memorable roles from the Oscar-winning actor Eddie Redmayne. Number 10, Osmund, Black Death.
Please, brother. Let me out.
We start with fire, brimstone, and plenty of violence, as Redmayne leads a band of not-so-merry men through a plague-era England.
Can I serve you outside of these walls?
Eddie plays Osmund, a devout monk who teams with Sean Bean's gang of mercenaries, headed for a mysterious village as yet untouched by the Black Death.
Have a look.
Legend says that something supernatural lays afoot, so will Osmund's faith withstand what he finds? With a godly helping of gore, it's a long way from Redmayne's amiable off-screen persona.
Bring her back! I beg you, bring her back!
Number 9, Alex Forbes, Like Minds. Retitled Murderous Intent for the US DVD release in 2007, this movie was Redmayne's first feature film. Like Minds sees Eddie star as Alex, a boarding school student who finds himself sharing with a death-obsessed roommate.
Okay, let's make this nice and clear. Yeah, I don't like you very much.
From there, things get really rather weird. A psychological puzzle played out in a series of flashbacks. The film proves a platform for Redmayne's trademark brand of unconventional style.
No, if you look at it, you'll see it's exactly like all the other atrocities committed against the people by the church.
At once charming and chilling, Alex is a character who gets in your head and stays there.
You like history?
Number 8, Angel Clare, Tess of the d'Urbervilles. With boyish good looks and a well-rounded accent, Redmayne seems a shoo-in for the period roles.
Blasted bloody thing!
And so, we head to Wessex, Thomas Hardy's fictional country, for a 4-part BBC adaptation of a literary classic.
Marry me, Tess. Be my wife.
Eddie steps out as Angel Clare, one of 2 men tussling for Tess's affections. The story isn't as simple as Tess making the right choice, however. Redmayne strikes to the heart of a complicated character, uncovering an intense and ultimately tragic love triangle.
The affair, it lasted 48 hours. And it was 48 hours, Tess, of dissipation that I regret with all my heart, but not least for the pain that it might cause you.
Number 7, Gordy, The Yellow Handkerchief. Eddie forms an unlikely trio with William Hurt and Kristen Stewart next for an American indie remake of a Japanese classic.
Oh, I'm Gordon. Everybody calls me Gordy.
The Yellow Handkerchief sees Redmayne's Gordy and Stewart's Martine take a road trip across Louisiana, meeting fresh from prison Brett along the way.
You're a circus animal.
They're headed for Brett's ex-wife, but the journey soon transforms into a life-affirming trip for all 3. Eddie's southern tones seem reasonably authentic, and he shines as a geeky social outcast.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I was really bored.
Number 6, Anthony Babington, Elizabeth, The Golden Age. To another of Redmayne's earliest film roles and another pivotal part in a period drama. In Cate Blanchett's second outing as Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen is under pressure from Spain and her domestic rivals led by Mary Queen of Scots. As the infamous Anthony Babington, immortalized by the Babington Plot, Eddie fronts an assassination attempt on the English ruler. He isn't afforded bags of screen time, and dramatic license develops the plot further than is historically accurate, but Eddie's scenes are some of the movie's most significant and memorable.
The traitor's dead! We must act! Why do we not strike?
Number 5, Colin Clark, My Week with Marilyn. While Michelle Williams took most of the plaudits for her performance as Monroe, Redmayne's turn as the superstar's assistant and chaperone provides the perspective here.
So I decided to leave home and join the circus.
My Week with Marilyn focuses on the filming of The Prince and the Showgirl and Marilyn's brief stay in England. But Eddie's Colin quickly becomes infatuated by her, with Redmayne scaling a full spectrum of emotions throughout the movie.
That room there, upper school, that's where you're sent if you don't work hard enough. You're whipped.
From his initial youthful enthusiasm to a world-weary pint at his local, it's quite the coming-of-age tale.
Are you someone, mate?
No, I'm no one.
Number 4, Newt Scamander. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. To one of Redmayne's most famous roles and his long-awaited introduction into the Harry Potter universe.
Well, my philosophy is that worrying means you suffer twice.
Released 5 years after the original saga ended, Fantastic Beasts sees Eddie head stateside as an eccentric English collector of curious creatures.
Dougal, settle down now, please. Won't be long.
Armed with his wand and inconspicuous suitcase, Newt Scamander is an unusual character, even amongst wizards, with unconventional interests ranging from the Niffler to the Bowtruckle. And this is just the first installment of another magical adventure. Next stop, Paris.
You prefer pie or strudel?
I really don't have a preference.
Number 3, Lili Elbe, the Danish Girl. A challenging role, but one that Redmayne masters, the Danish Girl brings transgender issues to the mainstream cinema.
Don't make her a slut.
It's your fault. You excite her.
Eddie plays Ina Wegner, a prominent artist who identifies as female, and the movie tracks the painter's journey to becoming Lili Elbe.
So there was a moment when I was just Lily, and I think that he could see that.
The story is based on David Ebershoff's novel, which was inspired by the real-life Lily who lived in Denmark in the 20s. Redmayne is at the centre of many a tense or poignant moment.
It doesn't matter what I wear. It's when I dream.
His performance saw him scoop Best Actor nominations throughout the 2016 awards season. Number 2, Marius Pontmercy, Les Miserables.
Oh God, for shame, I do not even know your name.
Time to stretch those vocal cords. Eddie's part in the ensemble cast for the 2012 film version of Les Mis saw him star as social revolutionary Marius. But when Pontmercy isn't trying to overthrow the monarchy, he's falling in love with Cosette, which could pose a troubling turn of events for Valjean.
How can I live when we are parted?
Redmayne's musical highlights include a part in the rousing rendition of One Day More, and a lead for Do You Hear the People Sing. It shivers down the spine stuff.
My place is here, I fight with you.
Number 1, Stephen Hawking, The Theory of Everything.
There ought to be something very special about the boundary conditions of the universe.
An Oscar-winning effort, Redmayne's 2014 portrayal of Stephen Hawking puts his credentials as a leading actor beyond a doubt.
What are you?
Oh, cosmologist. I'm a cosmologist.
Starring as the celebrated physicist, Eddie plays out Hawking's formative years at Oxford, before and after the scientist was diagnosed with motor neuron disease.
This is temporary.
While parts of the movie were criticised for glossing over historical inaccuracies, Redmayne's work was widely praised.
For black hole, not for rock concert.
Charting Hawking's developing condition over a number of years, it proved a career-defining performance.
My new project disproved it.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.